Blarg! Hey, hello, people and peoples unknown. This is another of my random commentaries. It's been a really busy week. Have to move some boxes in the background because moving requires taking everything of my precious gaming items, sticking them in a box, and then hoping they don't die on the way to the new house. Don't want that to happen because then it would be like, oh no, right? The PlayStation Chronicle has finally released our very first debut issue. You can find a link in the bottom. Hopefully everyone will read it and they'll actually enjoy it. We're going to be doing a monthly now magazine. Every month we're making a new one, and hopefully it'll become very popular because we put a lot of work into it, and I think it's full of awesome stuff. You got some. We got a Little Big Planet 2 interview in there. We got a GT5 interview in there. We got a Killzone 3 interview in there. We got a bunch of reviews for Black Ops and a bunch of other games. Yeah, and there's some very interesting things. So I hope everybody, that means you, will read it and you will like it, because then you can come back and read it next month again, and that will be definitely good. You can also subscribe to it on issue.com. The link will be in the bottom at the commentary box. And hopefully you can keep track of it from month to month. I'll also put a link there for the private forums on the PlayStationforums.com, so that you guys can read anything that we post as far as new information, anything that needs to be known. So hopefully you guys will watch that. There's also a link for the PlayStation Chronicle Twitter and my Twitter, because I want you to watch what we're doing. So I'll be tweeting often, and so will the Chronicle. And that's that as far as the Chronicle is concerned. Then, next on the menu is GT5, Gran Turismo 5. 5 years in the making. Needless to say, a lot of people were disappointed because the game was just like, it's bad. But, you know, it's not really that bad. People are just like, but a lot of people complain, even though, like, okay, so it's been 5 years in the making. I can see why you'd be disappointed. Because, let's face it, it's not brilliant. It's good. It's shiny. Well, 200 cars are shiny, and maybe a third of the tracks are shiny. But apart from that, it's a really good game. I mean, the physics are still there. The game still handles exactly what you'd expect. The problem is, everything in between is just like, bleh. I mean, the damage model, if you could call it that, I don't know. It literally looks like, if you crash into a wall at top speed, it looks like somebody spilt their coffee on your hood. It's like I was carrying my morning coffee and just some guy just hit me, and I just like, coffee on the hood. This is what it looks like. It looks like a dirty stain. It looks like somebody spilt their coffee. It doesn't look like a crash. I mean, even if you whap the wall 50 times, you're just like, that's not what I call damage. A lot of people didn't like it for several things like that. Like, okay, so they put 5 years into it. But the problem is, a lot of parts of the game just are not finished. Which, ironic as it is, after 5 years, you'd expect it to be flawless. Most games take maybe 2 to 3 years. If it's a very good game, maybe 2 years to develop. If you're EA, it tends to be a year. But then again, it sometimes shows. Not naming any series, but it's very quick games nowadays. It's just the big companies are able to put a lot of money into it, and it just comes out bam, right? And with Sony's funding, you'd think that GT5 would come along quickly. But one thing I like about Polyphony is they are really good at making things perfect, which is why so many people were slapped in the face when this game came out, because there are so many parts of the game, like damage, coffee spilling contest, where it just doesn't seem at all finished, if in fact started. You could actually argue, like I would argue, that there shouldn't be damage at all. Why is there damage when it looks like you spilt your coffee on the hood? Like, why would you want that? Why would you want that? No, you really wouldn't. There's no real point in putting damage in a game if it looks the way it does. And why? Right? Not much of a reason why. That's the problem. Some of the tracks are also like, I don't know, it's weird. Some of the tracks, like some of the nighttime, like the special events where you're driving on the nighttime, it's beautiful. It's like sunset, sunsetting, and there's starry skies, and there's fireworks. It's like, right? Those are amazing. Those like, right? Because they are pure gold, solid gold. And that's what makes those amazing. But the problem is there's so many other tracks, like the track editor, for example, where you create something and it's just a road in the middle of an open field. Maybe there's some mountains in the background, a little bit of fluffy trees, a little bit of animals prancing around. Well, there's not, but you get the drift. It's empty. It's barren. It's a wasteland. And the problem is that's just one out of many, many things that makes GT5 feel unfinished. And that is just, I find that so ironic that a game this long would be so unfinished. Anyways, I was going somewhere with this. Well, the thing is, Gran Turismo 5, when it first came out, there was a lot of complaints about experience. I not getting Gran Turismo 5 until Christmas. I know that sounds pretty funny, considering, I've been looking forward to it for, 5 years. Right? You'd think I would get it right at day one, but I didn't. I got it at Christmas time. Yes, I got it as a present, that's right. Anyways, so I got it, and it didn't take long for me to realize that there are so many problems wrong with the game. So Polyphony Digital just released their first update, and it's a big one. Well, it should have been a big one. It fixed many problems with the XP system. The XP system was probably my biggest complaint. It was terrible. Like, by the time you get to level 30, it takes you literally 5-7 hours to level up once, and that's if you're grinding the best possible race. Okay, you do like there's 40 levels, so you have to still level up 10 more times, and by the time you get to level 39, if you grind the best race in the game, it takes you. There was a guy with a prediction sheet. It was just like if you to get from level 39 to 40, it takes like a day and a half of solid grinding on the best possible scenario. Right? Like, who would want to do that? Honestly, nobody. That's why I'm saying it's just like, okay, right? It's not really logical for anybody to do that kind of thing, which is why it's just pure bonkers. But the update came out. Some things were fixed. The XP system's a little bit fixed now, so you get a bit more XP, and the levels are a little bit shorter, but it's not that big of a difference. And there's some other tweaks I didn't really like. One thing for sure, Polyphony figured out the best possible cash grinding levels. There were several levels, you know what they are if you play Gran Turismo 5, where you could grind, and it would take you like 3 minutes. I think it was one of the indie races. It was like 3 minutes. You took the Red Bull car, and you'd have 100 grand, right? 3 minutes. That's a very good deal. Well, they fixed that. They made it different. They gave you less money now, which sort of defeats the purpose in you wanting to do it. Right? You actually get like 92,000 now instead of like 108, which is not bad. But now, if you compare it with other races, the reward isn't as good. So there's no real reason you'd want to do it anymore. Anyways, hopefully they're going to create another patch and they're going to fix some more problems, because needless to say, Gran Turismo 5 is a broken game. And as huge of a fan I am, needless to say, a lot of people are disappointed. But, well, we'll see. I'm right now playing Test Drive Unlimited 2. We're working on the February issue. Don't forget to click at the bottom. Check out our Twitter for the Chronicle, and check out the Chronicle magazine. Next month, new issue coming out. I will be seeing you there, and hopefully you guys will read it and enjoy it. Please comment, subscribe, and favorite. I will see you soon. Brrnout out.